first voiceovers I ever did was for Blockbuster Video. Now, how was that for some ancient history?
Wow, well, you're talking like the commercials back in the day. Back in the day.
Radio. It was some spots for the radio. Why is Frosty so cool? Because he shops at Blockbuster Video. Why is Rudolph's nose so red? Because he shops at Blockbuster Video. He got to go to Blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? And here we are, so many years later. There's no more Blockbusters. That's crazy. Ain't it? That's wild.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
it was weird. I was actually just passing through one of the smallest towns in Illinois that I think I could imagine, and they still had a family video, and I just had to stop in just for the nostalgia value. I'm like, really? This is still around? This is still a thing?
yeah, I guess so. You got guys who are they miss it so much they make their basements into the blockbusters. Did you see this shit? A couple of guys converting their man caves into blockbuster video stores.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I saw
Yeah,
the video on YouTube. The guy like does like a tour of his basement, and I mean, man, I haven't seen a VHS player in years. I don't even think I could imagine trying to collect VHS tapes. That's just
I worked
ridiculous.
at the blockbuster for a hot minute for like a month and a half.
Really?
I did. I worked at a blockbuster here in Atlanta. I sure did. I surely did. That's before I started working in the market research game. I was the guy who used to call your house and go, "Hey, Jerry, what do you think of your cable provider? We just have this hour-long cable survey. We want to sort of ask you in the future, do you think you'd be able to fast forward, rewind, and pause live TV? What do you think? Most likely, somewhat likely, not at all likely." That was a dream gig for me because it wasn't telemarketing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I got paid by the hour, and I could break off and do the theater and the plays and the operas and stuff like that without getting fired. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. He kept it
So
super flexible
it was a
for you.
cool little job, man. I worked there for about 7 years, and then I got Aquatine. Matter of fact, I auditioned in the break room of that job.
Really?
I was getting on the break room phone. It was a conference call with Matt Malero and Dave Willis, the co-creators of the show. And it was the script for Rabbi. Back in the day, kids, there was this thing called fax machines. Something would come over the airwaves and the phone lines, and it would sound like really annoying and go, wee, oh, wee, and give you all this digitized information.
Print it out
Numbers,
at
zeros
your
and ones would turn into
convenience.
words. Zeros and ones would turn into words, and you would read those words. And so I'm in the break room, my day job at Booth Research. I can say a name now because they're defunct. Now they're no longer there. And if they are, so what? They wouldn't give me my unemployment. I worked for that company for 7 years, damn it. They couldn't get no unemployment. Georgia's a messed up state for unemployment, I tell you, man. It's an interesting state for a lot of things. That's part of the reason why I don't get residuals from Aquatine is because I live in the state of Georgia. But that's another story.
Really?
So anyway,
Really?
yeah. I'll get to that later. But I mean, I'm not mad at Adult Swim. Don't get me wrong. I would love to work with those guys again. I just went to the Ball Smashers season 2 screening
Okay.
at a theater down here on Ponce. Sorry, guys, I can't remember the name of the theater. In fact, it was the same one that Aquatine premiered at. Majestic. That's what
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Majestic Theater.
Well, yeah, it's
Here in
because Adult Swim is based out of Atlanta, correct? That's like where their home base is.
That's where the original home base is, but
Okay.
I think they might have a big one in L.A. now, or a big one in New York now. Adult Swim has been kind of dismantled a little bit over the years. It used to be a lot more prevalent in just here,
Right.
and now it's like they got New York offices, they got L.A. offices, they got an Adult Swim Latin America, and
Really?
I've done VO for Adult Swim Latin America. Oh, absolutely, certainly have.
I didn't think
I
it
mean,
was.
yeah,
I didn't think they would have departmentalized it as much as it is. But I mean, Adult Swim has
it's
just
Australia now,
grown.
dude. It's in
Yeah.
the UK now.
Yeah. It's just grown exponentially.
If I was getting residuals for Aquatine, because they still air it,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That would be pretty sweet. But alas, alack, I do not. It's like they put this contract in front of you, man, and they say sign this, man. You're gonna be in the cartoon. Cool. I don't need no entertainment lawyer. Look at this. I know what I'm doing. Let's sign this thing. Get this show rolling. Get paid.
Well, I mean,
But who
and
knew? Right? I definitely didn't know that it was gonna A, last as long as it did, or B, see, there's another thing to consider too with that show. There were no commercials. There
Yeah.
were no commercial breaks. Each episode was like 12 minutes long. So they got away with not having any sponsors. Ergo, ipso facto, no sponsors, no royalties, no residual on the get back. Now, we do have a cast member that's in SAG. Dana Snyder got into SAG since he moved to LA. Now, I don't know if he's getting them. He might be, but I'm not in SAG, and I ain't got $5,000-6,000 laying around where I can just go, here you go, SAG,
Right,
make me a
right.
member, and I'll pay my dues every month or bi-monthly or annually or whatever it is. I ain't rolling like that.
Well, I mean,
You
and,
know what I'm
and
saying?
back when Adult Swim
There
was
was
just
also,
getting
there was
going,
also, I'm sorry, say it again.
well, I was saying just when like back when you would assign your contract when Adult Swim was just getting going. I mean, Cartoon
Like,
Network was it was like the Hanna Barbera rerun channel. You know what I mean? Like it really didn't have too much
it was
original
literally
programming.
Boomerang. It was literally Boomerang
Yeah,
when it first aired. They had a few original shows, but not many. I mean, you had your Curtis and Cowardly Dog, you had your Powerpuff, and you had your Space Ghost, which is where Aqua Teen was fledgling from or hatched, depending on who you talk to.
well, didn't that episode of Space Ghost actually air after the first Aqua Teen short aired?
That's why I say, depending on who you talk to,
Yeah, yeah.
we kind of punked the crowd into thinking that Aqua Teen came from Space Ghost. It kind of did because I get what it was the big wigs were on the fence as to whether or not to make Aqua Teen to greenlight Aqua Teen.
Right.
So once they saw the fan response, I think from that episode of Space Ghost, they're like, okay, I'll go ahead and make it a food show, or whatever. I think it was something like that. I don't know because I was just a hired gun. You see, I'm what is known as an independent contractor. So in other words, I wasn't on Turner's payroll. I was the hired gun. I'm a voice actor, independently, contracted out
Right,
to do
right.
the voice of.
Well, I mean, at least
So
in the early years, did you have any sort of like input on how you wanted the character to be portrayed, or just kind of the demeanor of the character overall?
that's no, I brought that. I brought the demeanor of the character, but I'm just saying I had no input on how the character should be. This is what happens. See, that my agent calls me and goes, "Hey, I want you to." I was already doing. Let me back up a little bit. I was already announcing for Samurai Jack.
Okay.
For the original incarnation of Samurai Jack, if you recall that on the next Samurai Jack gets into this, so that and the other. I was the announcer for that, and I believe I was the announcer that told the world that first time Goku died on Dragon Ball Z. Doing stuff for
Really?
Toonami
I did
and
not
stuff
know
like.
that.
Yeah. I used to do stuff for Toonami. There was a little skit they had going on in Toonami where this evil red robot, kidnaps Tom's female voiced AI, and I played the evil red robot, stuff like that. And so the reason I'm talking about all this is some production assistant. His name was Larry Morris. I remember the name well because I went to high school with a guy with the same name.
Hmm.
Different guy though. He ran to Matt Malero, and Dave Willis was like, "Hey man, you need to hear this Carey Means guy, man. It'd be perfect for this show you're doing about food products. You know what I'm saying? This Aqua Teen
Yeah,
thing."
yeah.
So that's what led to me auditioning in the break room, reading the script from Rabbi. No, don't get a jam box. I was like, "What is this crap? Not gonna I am not going to get this gig. No, next, moving on. Hope she send me another audition because I don't know about that one. I'll tell you. So my agent describes the character to me. She goes, "Well, it's listen to the name. It's Frylock. Sherlock. Get it? He detective solves the case. He's a man. You know what I'm saying? This is her describing the character to me now. So I'm getting in my mind kind of what I want him to sound like. A
Yeah.
little bit, kind of what I want him to be like. Do this, do that, or whatever Frylock says, shut up, shake, and all that stuff. So when I was reading the script from Rabbi, you could just hear Matt and Dave in the background, they're just cracking up, and I was like, I don't know what this crap is, man. So lo and behold, here we are, over a decade and a half later. I got the gig. It came down to me and one other guy, and apparently the other guy was too droll too boring, too dull. So life. Apparently, I had more life in me than he did. Even though if you look at the first episode, we're all pretty dead in that one. It's like, episode. They told me the guy's supposed to sound cool.
Yeah.
The Frylock was supposed to. You can't sound cool and talk fast at the same time. It's kind of hard to do. So it was like, I wanted to sound cool. So that's why Frylock is talking so slowly like that in the pilot episode, baby. Yeah. They wanted to sound real cool. So
Yeah. Kind of give him the Barry White.
budget concern, pick up the pace, to say the least.